Hello, welcome to Mystic Moons. I hope everyone is doing well. Sometimes we look upon the chaos on earth and we seem to, with the chaos around us, right? In our neighborhoods, we listen to the news, and we just hear one thought. We hear strange happenings, or just strange to our ears, if we're not exactly participating in what's happening. And then it's hard to. You close the door, you had a hard day, you just don't want to be bothered. But sometimes you just got to turn on the news, turn on your mind, open up, and wonder just what is going on. What is the program? What is what? And just the mere speculation of wondering, is this real? Or is this? We're not even thinking if it's real or not, just listening to it. Puts you in a state of wonderment, quandary, for even if it's for a nanosecond. Today we're going to take a trip. We're going to take a psychic trip. We just heard something yesterday, something televised on state news. You know, government sanctioned, media sanctioned, high level media sanctioned news. We heard, hello, how are you? Sun kissed. Good. Now open your mind to the fact that we heard yesterday, and it wasn't even really pronounced. I mean, it didn't make like the header that like the other war news did, but it still was a scratch on the forehead. Something is going on that makes you think that we're not being told the truth, the truth, the truth, right? And you wonder, what is the truth? And then you hear that old adage. You always hear that saying, "You can't handle the truth." But sometimes not everybody follows the program of lips sealed, quiet, right? Quiet. Ah, good. Thank you. Thank you for all your pleasantries, everyone. Thank you. I appreciate you too. The point is, we heard that there are soldiers on the news station. Getting back to that, the Army Secretary of the U.S. Army Secretary Daniel. What was his last name? His name is Driscoll. He stated that the soldiers are on the moon. Soldiers. Or actually, he said astronauts. Who was a soldier? Now, we know damn well there's not just one soldier up there by himself on the moon, all by himself or herself, but it's a soldier on the moon. Now, is this true or false? Are we being sucker punched with a lot of activity like be afraid, and beware, and World War III and all this? When there's something on the moon, they have a secret plan, a secret space program, and they can't trust us? They can't trust us. Yes, I'm smoking because this incense is divine. This incense is divine. Passing it to you. The smell, it's very cleansing. We're calling in major spirits right now, major spirits, major entities who can perhaps give us more information that our fellow humans don't trust us with. They don't trust us. Why don't they trust us? Maybe because if we clear our minds out, if we really clear our minds out, hello, if we clear our minds out, maybe these entities that we are not privy to, will contact us or will get in touch with us because our frequency will be extended. And if everyone or anyone could do that, could, elevate themselves spiritually, mentally, cleansing into alignment with the universe. Maybe there wouldn't be any, they couldn't keep secrets. They couldn't keep the in crowd, the pyramid complex that so many humans are into. You get a little money, you get a little power, you get a little position, and all of a sudden you're a pyramid power. So let's see. Is it true? I mean, you don't get to be the secretary of the army and just flip out statements, do you? No. Who could trust somebody of that stature who made up things, who imposed ideas on the masses, us, the civilians, who are not supposed to be too smart, too questioning. Forget about being smart or stupid. Too questioning. We're not supposed to ask questions, but let's us ask as universe tells us to ask. Is there a secret moon project going on right now? Is Space Force, we've heard about that for like a few years now. Is there something going on in the heavens above us, off this planet, or as well as in this planet, that's not human, or is seeking to colonialize a portion of the galaxy that we inhabit? These are all these things. I believe, yes, something is going on. Now, as I said, someone of this magnitude of position, forget about how much money he's making a year. Why did Dan open his mouth and let this slip? Don't you think Trump would have said it first? Do you think Trump is agitated? And why are we hear nothing about it from our commander in chief? And he's hinted before that the United States has fabulous, wonderful, big, beautiful technology that that contradicts our concept of time, space, the elements. In other words, he's saying that that show, the Stargate, it's been on for decades. He's saying that we actually, in so many words, not using the word because he loves adjectives, big, beautiful, great, fantastic, and, whatever, sweet deal. He doesn't say sweet, but you get good deal. There's no purpose in telling us this. So let's, again, and we prepared the atmosphere. We have this beautiful smell, attracting entities, attracting elements. Does the United States have a secret base on the moon? I mean, we probably would hear about the Chinese having it before we hear about it here because, we can't know too much here. We just have to be gutless, stupid consumers of anything, unless we're blessed with Nepo contacts. Blessed. I anoint you to be my number one, number two, etc. Anyway, let's ask, is there, and he said soldiers too, like the army. That means that's not scientists. There are scientists on the moon. No, he said soldiers, which means they are expecting conflict. Now, do you think this conflict is for you and I, or our friends in China, our friends in Russia, our friends in France? No, it doesn't sound like. Why would you go to space when you can just, beam some frequency? In other words, is there a non-human element to all this? No, don't forget all those drones, all those orbs that are constantly flying saucers, flying cigars, flying anything that defy the physics that we are taught in college and even lectures, any type of books. We're not told squat. We are not told squat. And are we supposed to be okay with it? But soldiers on the moon. In other words, there's a base There is a base. Is it all human? Is it all? There is a base. There is a base on the moon. Are we anticipating Apophis? You know, that comet, that meteorite, that huge, huge floating doomsday matter that comes and goes. And it's supposed to come in a couple more years, and they don't know what to do with it because they don't know what to do with it yet. At least they tell us they don't know what to do with it. Or could it be something else? Could it be visitors? Okay, the first thing we get is the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords. Passive announcement. Passive announcement. When that army secretary, Dan Driscott, when he said, we have soldiers on the moon, could that be the receptive, passive way, encompassing, if you were to listen, to the switch off and on, switch off and on. There's a reason why we have the 5,000, practically 5,000 military people stationed in LA. There's a reason why Israel attacked Iran. There's a reason why. Distractions, distractions. Somebody's playing a sick game of power, a sick game of like, can you handle this? You can handle this, but can you handle that? And then we have here the Knight of Pentacles. We have this sword, communication, which was like offhandedly dropping it around. Do you imagine if Trump held a press conference and said, we have soldiers on the moon. We are, soldiers, not scientists, not researchers, R&D, research and development, soldiers. Now that connotates big time news, big time warfare. What? And we're going to hit some other country and go to the moon when we can just send some frequency beam and less expensive? No, no, no. And everything is technology, technology, technology. That's the society we live in. So we have here the Knight of Pentacles. Now, the Knight of Pentacles, defending Earth, earthbound. Pentacles, coins. We can do it. The allocation of money, the allocation. What do you think? Yes, those creatures in their backyards, sun-kissed. Yes, those creatures, sun-kissed. Those creatures in the backyard. And you know what? Those creatures in the backyard, in the 1800s, they had many flying discs that landed in people's backyards. This is not the first time the creatures in the backyard, creatures in the front yard, across the field, have been spotted and noticed. We just can't talk about these things. Why are we living in a society that we can't freely talk about what happens? Oh, we're afraid that somebody's going to think we're putz. We're like, duh. Perhaps. But so what? Do you really care if your neighbor thinks you're screwy or not? Are they paying your bills? Are they feeding you? Are they what? Are they that important to you what other people think? I don't think so. Of course, I'm not that type of person that has to get the nod from my neighbors to know how to jump up and down or when to jump up and down. I don't follow the cues. Yep. We don't follow the cues because our true selves, our mission here is not to listen to something, not to get the mirrored look or the mirrored monkey see, monkey do look from our neighbors, but to feel what the universe has put us here to do. Now, if somebody has put you here to observe and go, oh, oh, mm, like some sort of primate, okay, blessed is your path. However, for those of us who have a mission, a reason, an elevation to do here on earth, our time in this body is not forever in our bodies. is not forever. We are mindful of that. We are mindful of time, not to go and mimic stupid, not to go and mimic, oh, that sounds good. Oh, that person's safe because that's safe thinking. No, we're not into that. We're not into that because safe thinking gets us like, oh, we have soldiers on the moon. And look at this death. Now, this death card is a transformation card. That means that he just dropped that bomb. He was told to drop that bomb. He decided to, that Secretary of the Army decided to drop that bomb on Fox News yesterday. Actually, it came from Fox News because he thought it was a good idea. He was told to do it that way to make it seem like a faux pas. Oh, an accident. I misspoke. Did he misspoke? Did he? For us to question. Now, you do know, you remember in 2017, which is probably 8 years ago, they discovered that huge orbiting cigar-shaped thing. Let's call it a thing. It was pretty big, and it was had an orbit. Not an orbit like a planet is a planet is called a planet, like a heavenly body, because it follows a predictable orbit. So it wasn't big enough to be a planet, but it was sizable, and they gave it the name of Oumuamua, and they studied it, and it was kind of passive. It was passive. It was very passive, but steady, steady. It wasn't going anywhere, and it stayed that way. It stayed around for a while. And then all of a sudden, one day, boom, gone. Well, you know what? Do you know that there's another device, another object, another rotating form, vehicle, vessel? And they call this one Neo Oumuamua. Neo Oumuamua. And you know what else? Do you recall that 45 years ago, NASA, or anybody who studied like space, love space, and space exploration, knows that 45 years ago, NASA launched Voyager. Now, this Voyager has been pretty much a dud, until 45 years later. In fact, a few weeks ago, it signaled back a message. It signaled back a message. And you know what? It also gave form to something, an entity, not an entity, a being, an intelligence, an intelligence. And surprisingly, NASA, as soon as it saw the damn thing up in space, orbiting, and it's bigger and it has more, it's receptive, it did a flash of light. It threw off a frequency towards us, towards us. Now, what does that mean? Did you hear about it? No, quiet, quiet, quiet. We have to hear about all the stupid things that we are treated to. Military, distrust among others, visitors without the proper papers, things like that. When something is happening in the heavens, something important is happening in the heavens. We had a message from Voyager, quiet, nobody's talking about. Nobody has yet. It is day 155 or something like that Trump has been in office. And he promised on day one he would tell the American people what the hell was in the skies. What the hell has been in the skies that defies, again, our understanding of physics? Even if you're not a physicist, even if you have no mathematical interest or cue ball or whatever, you still know that how fast an airplane would go. You know the predictability, just like a butterfly moves. You know how our vehicles of air transportation would move. And we all know that what we saw 6 months ago, 7 months ago, 8 months ago defies all our known, communicated to us, of course, the people, the masses, the civilians who pay for everything, who would be familiar with. And no explanation. Oh, it must be the army, must be the military. Well, yeah, reversed engineering of these types of spacecrafts. And we all know that. But it's still quiet. It's still no talking about these devices, these vessels. And some of them, yes, they're US military, but some of them aren't as well. But quiet, quiet, quiet. We always have quiet, quiet, quiet. Why? Yes. Why do we have quiet? Because we can't handle the fact. No, 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 no. We can handle it, you and I. But can they? The power pyramid, you know, the pyramid, those at the top and those at the bottom, they don't want to lose their position. They don't want to have the adoration and the abandon and the bliss of being looked at by the ones on the lower part of the pyramid, looking at them with awe. And oh, save me, master, save me, mistress, save me. Save me, save me. Save me. Save me from what? The knowledge that we belong to the universe? The knowledge that there are like millions of planets out there, billions of planets, there's millions of galaxies. Okay, so even if we live in a simulation, there still are others besides what, us, the richest guy in the world. If he's the richest guy in the universe, who is the richest? The richest, the richest in powers, the richest to act like a damn fool, the richest to not act like a damn fool. Who is the richest to move our psychic, our psychic abilities? We are a lot more than what we've ever been told. And why are we not being told? Do we have endless, ridiculous satires? Satires of humanity that we view on cable TV, in music, in our art, in our literature. Why is it so tacky, so trashy, so below the belt? In the pants. Why? Because they don't want evolution to occur anymore because we are so powerful. And that's the big secret. And this is what this guy is saying with his little slip. Soldiers on the moon. And this new Neo Oumuamua, this new sighting, this outburst of energy. Why are they not talking about it? Secrets, secrets, secrets. How can a society be democratic? How can a society advance when there's so many secrets that you just have to turn off the BS people? The BS people. You can't listen to them no matter how many microphones they have. And here we have the high priestess. The high priestess can also be, now, it's a feminine type of energy, yes, but it also represents our individual receptiveness and our individual sense of ah. So many getting too hot here for the internet. Anyway, we have the high priestess, which is accepting things on your abilities to accept the entirety of your direction, of your path, of your path. Yes. I had a little, sometimes when you say interesting things, the internet does weird things. So let's expect that because they don't want this information out. They don't want you to have like I'm going to ride this, like riding a stallion, riding the wave. They don't want you to surf the potential of where you can be and where you should be. This is, if you that is weird that happens, isn't it? You would think a society, a successful society in terms of Western demographics, is one that is not too smart. They don't ask questions, and there are a lot of like, yay, yay, yay. That's the way you do it. That's the way you do it. And I would say this high priestess is our union, represents our union with where some of us are capable of being and where we should be, all of us. That's what I say. That is what the high priestess states. And the final here, we have temperance. Temperance would be something as though the waiting, a time card, an action of like, don't be too hasty. Don't be too hasty to believe everything you hear. Don't believe, don't, in other words, I would say it says to, it's time for everyone to have this knowledge that we are not alone. And that space program that's going on, we cannot really accept that being silent. We must know what's going on. We must be aware of what they are doing. Well, I had to change my internet connection. My internet connection was going wild on me, so I took another one, another type of internet connection. So, anyway, we're, we're doing something that requires all of us, the Two of Pentacles, to work together to find out, to demand that we do not no longer have secrecy. What is going on in space? Who are we being contacted by? We're receiving this signal from Voyager, as you've heard. They're coming this way. And you know what, Voyager 45 years ago, they had a drawing of a male and a female, and the languages, things like that, our math. They gave us, they gave to whomever was looking, to whatever being was looking at us, a clear sight of who and what we were and are. In other words, it was saying, come and get us. Welcome, come on board, join the picnic. And something has come. Something is here. Something is here. And why are we having this chaos, this earth chaos? Because maybe they're trying to vie for favoritism to the entities, to the beings, to the aliens, space aliens, another group of people, another group of beings, that intelligence that is already here and more are coming. We're not alone on this planet because they're making too much secrecy. If we were alone, we would have already had, oh, blast off to the moon. Remember, we went to the moon how many years ago? 60, 70 years ago? Do you think they've been quiet for 60, 70? That's almost 100 years ago. Do you think they've been quiet for this entire time? No. So, yes, you can help. I would say that yes, it wasn't just a slip of the tongue. It was an actual factual detail that our space program is ready to come out of the closet. At least it's being leaked out of the closet. Leaked out of the closet by someone, some group is tired of the secrecy. Tired of the secrecy. But they're not that tired enough to invite you and I to enjoy it. Enjoy what they know. Enjoy what they know. Because that would be losing control, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? What do you think? Do you think that we do or don't have a base on the moon? Even the fact that it has to have soldiers, we're in for something bigger than just Russia, United States, China having proxy wars, bombing each other. We're in for something bigger. We're into a change, a big change, and more than just having machine learning, ML, or AI, artificial learning, artificial intelligence, which is nothing more than thousands and thousands of different algorithms. Which, I mean, if you do think, if you're able to think, you'll be able to put our predictability is not in the thousands. And if we had more interpersonal direct contact with each other, we wouldn't be in this quagmire of, oh, wow, look at the machines. Instead of we can just appreciate each other's abilities. There's a lot of things that need to be adjusted. The thing is, The thing is, can we get beyond the secrets, get beyond the pyramid system, and find who and what we are and our capabilities? That's what's really being said. That's what's being drummed into our heads. And should we be alarmed? And of course, we have. Do we have to leave this planet that's already been abused? Abused? Maybe this planet cleanses itself. And we do know there's an outside surface world and there's an inside world. There's many, many things that we don't have to be dwelling on the stupidity and idiosyncrasies that we're being told to think about, to do. All right, I think we can acknowledge that there is something suspicious going on. And there is a small branch that wants to come clean, a small branch of people, humans and non humans, that is tired of the charade, tired of the phoniness. Well, we'll just have to. So, Sunkissed, what do you think? Hey, hey. Hi, HS. How are you? How's the pussycats? How are the pussycats? Do you know something? When you get that many, that's a lot of kittens to get at one time. That's a lot of kittens. You know, I have four. I have four. So, it's a lot of poop to scoop. It's a lot of food. Excuse me. And it's also a lot of affection you have to give each one so they don't get jealous. And who's going to be the champion of that one? Who's going to be the champion? Who's going to be, oh, I'm the boss? And then there's a second tier, leadership. It's a lot of kitties, a lot of kitties, a lot of kitties. So I'm going to leave this one. And I think Voyager has made a comeback. And James Webb probe has said a new Neo Oumuamua has appeared. And it's not the vacant, still craft it was before. It's a new and hyped up one. And what are they doing? They're communicating with us. Communicating. And do you think they're communicating with Macron, Putin, Trump, etc.? They're communicating with us. What do they care if something or someone is a leader of unruly masses? What do they care? Is it really a contentious point to someone with so much advancement to be circling our planet, to be watching us? They're observing us. Could they be observing us to think that, should we let these people live? Should we let these beings, are these beings harmful? Are these beings worthwhile society? All those questions. All those questions. Well, those will be answered, I guess, in due time. But right now, we know that the secret has been blown off and there are soldiers on, we have a U.S. moon base that they don't talk about. Okay, we know that. What other treasures and information? Keep your ears open. Pick up the mistakes. Pick up the hints. Use your own feelings. Find out and share. So if you have any comments, please do leave them. If you appreciate, like button, please. Push the like button. To my subscribers, thank you. Sorry about the ins and outs, but this is, the internet. I'm up in the mountains. And also, too, sometimes I think that when you touch on sensitive subjects, you get played a little bit. They like to play. There's a playbook around. There's something like that. And we'll delve into more of this politics. This is not a far out scene. This is fact. When you have the army saying soldiers on the moon, that's a fact. That's a political fact. It's not far out. It's not fantasy. It's a reality. So, Mystic Moon listeners, subscribers and visitors, think about it. Think about where we're headed and how much revelations are we really going to happen. I don't mean end times revelations. I mean new times, different. No more hiding. There's no place to hide. No more running. There's no place to run. Okay. Until the next time, Mystic Moons is signing off. Bye bye. So long.